I've been thinking more, I suppose, and I'm actually here to I suppose debunk this whole gun violence thing. Um, as Americans, we're confused that every time we turn on the TV, you have Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger or anyone shooting guns. You're all talking about how we're all um, normalized to gun violence. Says the people who've made their billions on it. Like, this is like Satan saying Jesus is doing the wrong thing. He's the one that's, you know, accepted all these evils. This is the absolute most arbitrary thing I've heard in a long time. The reason the president hasn't banned bump stocks is because rubber band companies and hair tie companies and all these companies can't also be banned. I don't think anyone really gets the premise of what makes a bump stock work. And again, and if you're trying to ban any guns, ban all the long rifles because it's really hard to disguise those without you driving yourself somewhere and going somewhere. If you have to ride public transportation, if you have to do anything where you have to sit, be near people, I'm sorry. You can, oh, this dude had an AK-47 hidden in his pants. Yeah, and he was walking around like Peg Leg Joe. Like, please. I am just so confused how the NRA, who gives money to Congress, doesn't get money from Congress, gives money to Congress to continue the right of the people to bear arms. And if anybody questions it, um, that's okay. It's here to be questioned, but it's not here to be taken away. You want to try to take away freedom of speech? Again, the reason the Second Amendment is here is to defend the First Amendment. Because what did Stalin do? What did Mao do? What did all these people do? Like, I can say this, what did the Clintons do? All right, didn't they ban assault weapons and didn't nobody give a fuck and allow that to lapse? Yeah, yeah, I'm super right. I'm super right, actually. Automatic weapons, all of them, you have to have a special permit. You are registered. You're in a huge database. Here's the issue with the states and the people. There's something called the NICS program, to where if you have a mental disorder, if you have anything, it is supposed to be put in this system. So whenever you are trying to purchase a firearm, they can look at it and go, hey, this is a crazy fucker. He's been doing blah, 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 blah. And I don't think anyone really gets the fact that if you're trying to make another system to put in place of this system, if the people still don't use it, do you think it'll work? Does contraceptives work if you don't use them? I have birth control, but I shove them in my ass. Guess what? That'll actually do a little bit because your butt absorbs. But guess what? Leaving them in a drawer, sticking them in your nose, none of that stuff. Okay? I don't think anyone has a fucking clue what is really going on. You are talking about people that rarely have the mental capacity. And physically, as a man, physically, you are ready at the age of 18. Mentally, you're 30s. Okay? So please, shut up. All this is going to happen is they're going to make it to where you got to be 21 to be a cop. Guess what? If they do this, all you people that have armed guards, guess what? Your prices just tripled. And I'm going to get in that service. And I'm going to. Why? Because I don't give a shit why I was discharged out of the military. I have nothing against me. So please, people, pull your heads out of your asses. It's time to really think. It's time to look at this and go, what caused this? Outside of a mentally deranged person who is very likely bullied, I'm sorry, my child's 9, and I talk to him daily about people that think they're better than him. And I don't give a shit just because you might dribble a basketball better, just because you might read a little better, just because you can do whatever a little better. You will never stop people. You will never stop people from bullying. You will never stop weak minded people making themselves feel better because they've watched their parents do it. Okay? There is very small ways to change this. And the big way is parenting. Nowadays we have children raising children, people that just want to go out and stuff those nasty holes full of stuff while their grandma watches the babies. They ain't gonna have no more babies. Why? Because trust them. I'm sorry. We live in a country that banned slavery. We live in a country that got slaves from another country that got slaves from their mother country, from their people. We're talking about this while right now there are more indentured servants on the planet, period. Like, period. I can send you to cam websites that you'd be like, wow. And I'm like, yeah, I can show you where people can cry. Like, this is ridiculous to think that people are not being used, abused, and murdered. This is America, people. And I'm letting all of you know the reason I did what I did to free myself from a contract was a whole nother story. Biggest reason I done that is so I can continue to help push the truth, the facts. Whenever Amazon's owner buys Washington Post, you should know something's up, people. You should remove your heads from your asses. Pull the shit, literal shit, from your ears and listen, okay? I don't know how else to explain this other than you're being lied to. And it's okay to be wrong. I'll say this from the deepest sympathies. I've been wrong a lot. I've actually chose a huge section of my life to just do wrong shit. Okay? It is not different. There's no difference in being a bad person and a good person other than your actions. Okay? I can be the best person in the world, but then I can just turn around and cock punch you. So please, there was nothing outside of the fact, there was nothing that would have stopped the whole Florida shooting. Outside the fact, then, the security guard went in. Outside the fact that, the cops didn't stage up. I'm sorry, I've read their SOPs, and you're wrong. Why aren't people fired? Why aren't people going to jail because of this fact? And again, and if schools, it seems so ridiculous for schools to have armed guardsmen. Most post offices don't have them. Lots of banks don't have them. But the ones that do, Congress, the Senate, actually, if you want to do this, I say we just let the cops keep their mace, their tasers, their ass batons, and their fist, and say you're still deadly weapons. You just can't shoot at anybody. This, and you're speaking to someone who's had lots of run-ins with the police, who's had lots of, I don't shut my mouth well. I don't, when stuff happens, I tend to like to talk more. And that's just the blatant truth. What we need to realize as a country, what we need to realize as a world, is the fact that ever since like the 1700s, there's been acts in play. There's been people in play doing what they're doing now. Racial division is real. You have Hillary Clinton in the 90s talking about super predators that are black, and now she's talking about how we're fucking making these people seem bad. Hey, guess what, Hillary Clinton? We all know you're from Arkansas. Guess what? I'm from Mississippi. The only thing changes is you're a racist bigot. The only thing that changes this is the fact that your husband was impeached as governor of Arkansas and as a fucking president. And you were trying to make it out like everyone here is doing something wrong? That all these 300 million fucking Americans that's lived here and helped, and if anything has been shown by, 301, the thing that Trump just changed, is the world has been on our backs. 100% on our backs. And it is ridiculous to think that you're going to change the world without ruining it. I understand. It's not ever been that good. But guess what? Show me where else you can go. Be blessed.